Hey guys, Weeb here. In today's video, we're going to be asking the question, what class should you play on global launch for Black Desert Online Mobile? We're going to show a little bit of gameplay for each class and talk about the strengths and weaknesses and as to why you would want to play each class. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for any upcoming MMO content. The first class that we're going to be discussing is the Giant. As you may imagine, a Giant is a 2-axe wielding melee class that requires you to get to close range and has a nice amount of CC. It does a lot of spins, as you might expect, and it does decently well in PvP if you are able to chain CC the enemy together. If a new player doesn't know how to PvP, you can simply CC them into the ground and kill them before they can even do anything. Now, let's talk about PvE. So, as you can see here on the Giant, it has some longer range abilities, but the problem is that it has to run from mob camp to mob camp. A lot of the mob camps in the game are close range, but at some points in the game you're going to have to do mob camps that are a little spread out, or you're going to have to compete against other people for mobs. And unlike other games where melee simply have an advantage because they're close range, it's actually quite the opposite in BDOM, that you're at a disadvantage because you have to run around and get to the camps. Overall, it's an okay class, but it does require better ping and better gear to do well, so I would not recommend it as a beginning class in BDOM. Next up is the Warrior. As you might imagine, the Warrior has a shield and a sword and has some close range and long range attacks. A lot of his attacks though are on a slightly longer cooldown and they take a bit of cast time. So if you go into PvP against somebody that knows what they're doing or is able to dodge relatively quickly, you're going to miss a lot of your single target abilities because they're aimed in a straight line rather than focused on a target, so you're going to miss a lot of damage. It has the same issue as a Giant in the way that it has to run from mob camp to mob camp. It is an okay class to start with, but it's just not going to be as effective as something else like a caster. The game is heavily focused on DPS because you need to DPS mobs as fast as you can to kill as many as you can to obtain as much loot as possible. So unfortunately, I cannot recommend the Warrior as a first class in BDOM. Next up is the Wizard class. Wizard class uses Ice, Fire, and Lightning in combination to do both AoE and single target abilities. It can freeze and do other effects, and it looks really flashy as you can see, and it does farm relatively fast. I would say that the Wizard is the second fastest farming class and is fine to take as a first class in BDOM. Its evolution class is a very big monster when it comes to farming, which I'll actually show you a little bit of now. Okay, so this is the Witch's Succession class. This will not be available initially at global launch. I simply wanted to show this to show the fact that when you change classes and succeed into a new class type, your abilities become drastically different and they're much more powerful. So there's a lot to offer later on with whatever class that you may pick. Please note that not all classes have a succession or evolution, even in Korea. Next up is the Valkyrie. The Valkyrie is a hybrid between DPS and tank. As you can see, it's both using a shield and a sword. It's geared a little bit more towards DPS than it is tank, and keep in mind that BDM doesn't use the Holy Trinity system. What I mean by this is that there's no tank, healer, DPS type setup in BDOM. Every class is self-sufficient in its own way. Unfortunately, as you can see here, this class has the same problem as other melee classes, as that it has to keep running from mob to mob. There are a lot of people that like the Valkyrie class because it does look quite flashy, and it is an okay class, but unfortunately, with the same issues that the other melee classes have, and the fact that it isn't full DPS or highest DPS, simply makes it lag behind the range casters when it comes to farming. So unfortunately, I cannot recommend this as a first class. Okay, our final class that we will be talking about is the Archer. So the Archer is broken. So the Archer has quick attacks, quick animations, and quick agility. So it's able to shoot from really long range, it can dodge really quickly, and it doesn't have any clunky animations keeping it down. There's a couple of things that this gives you. It makes it the best farmer in the game, with the only class being close at the beginning of the game would be a wizard. It is really good at PvP because it has abilities that shoot really far and so fast that other people can't generally dodge them, so it does really well at PvP. And because it's so good at PvE and the fact that it doesn't have long cooldowns or long animations, you're able to beat bosses that you shouldn't necessarily be able to beat. For example, when questing, you're going to run into battle power walls. So your battle power is the strength of your character, and on most characters, you won't be able to beat a boss because the boss will just simply beat you. However, on the archer, because you have low cooldowns and low animations, you're able to kite them around in circles and kill them when you shouldn't be able to. So you will get further in the quest, get more gear, and grind higher levels in the game faster than other classes will, which will net you better gear, more silver, and everything else that you want in the game. The archer is definitely the class that I recommend over any other class at the beginning of BDOM. It is okay to play the wizard as well, but I would recommend avoiding any of the other classes that is not an archer or a wizard unless you really want to play them for one reason or another. Okay, now that we have discussed the classes and concluded the witch and the archer are the best classes to start with, I would like to talk a little bit about alts and family. So at the beginning of the game, you are going to pick a hopefully good class to grind. Some people might not want to do this because they may have a different favorite character or it might not be their playstyle. However, BDOM works on a family system. Now what I mean by family is I mean alts. So basically all of your alt characters are considered your family. And when you combine them all together, they can go into mini games and other things in the game. So basically what this means is that having one strong main, for example an archer, will not do in BDOM. You need to level all of the alts, and you need one of each type of character because you get bonuses by having different classes rather than playing the same class over and over again. So eventually you're going to have all your classes relatively geared up, so don't worry if you feel forced to play a class just because it's stronger on launch. Okay, that covers everything in today's video. If you did like the episode, please do consider hitting that subscribe button above. If you have any questions about this video or any of my other content, feel free to contact me over on Twitch where I do live stream, or join our community Discord. Both links are available below the video. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace.